From Luna and Lullaby. So excited to bring this topic to you this morning because I know that this can be a real issue for families, and that's those bedtime battles and those bedtime dramas when your toddler or your small child is just flat out refusing to go to bed. And it happens, we've all been there. My boys have run away and hid in the cupboard, and I actually haven't known where they were. It was pretty funny. But I mean, that's the funny side. It can also become really stressful, really difficult, really frustrating, and really upsetting for everyone in the family. And the thing is, after a full day at work or at school, maybe they're going to daycare and preschool, you like been making dinner, putting the washing away, maybe you had to go to the shops, I don't know, pay a bill, do all of your errands, and then you come home and you're exhausted and you're looking at that clock and you're like, okay, 7:30, these guys are into bed, and then the meltdowns start and the tantrums start, or the procrastination start. I just need one glass of water, I just need one more kiss, please read me one more story, I need 4 stories before I go to bed. I need this toy, I need that toy, I'm not tired, I'm scared, please stay with me, I'm hungry now. All of these wonderful excuses that our children can come up with to delay going to bed and, in their eyes, missing out. So whether it's some procrastination that is going on for hours, or whether it is that full-on tantrum, running, kicking, screaming, and one thing I've noticed since I've become a mother is my children have this incredible ability to become very stiff and immovable, or super fluid and unmovable. So it can be really difficult to physically move them when they don't want to be moved. And they get upset, and then you get upset, and everybody is upset, and bedtime becomes this very stressful, very anxious, very unpleasant time in the family home. Then bedtime becomes this really unpleasant time in the family home. But there are a lot of things you can do to help this. And today I've got 10 ways to help you solve your bedtime dramas. The first one is my wonderful 4 M's of sleep. These are 4 strategies that go very well together to create this wonderful idea of a bedtime. So the first thing is manners, and this is your bedtime manners, or your child's bedtime manners. Now, depending on the age of your child, you can pre-make this poster if they're maybe 2.5 or 3, and you make a poster that's basically their bedtime routine, their bedtime manners, so what they do at what time. If your child is a little bit older, maybe 4 or 5 or 6, you can include them in the making of this routine. Give them some ownership of it. Give them some ownership of the manners that they need to complete before they go to bed. So it might be brush your teeth, put your pajamas on, have a kiss and a cuddle goodnight, grab your teddy, read a story, lie down in bed and close my eyes. So these are wonderful things that you can put into your bedtime manners poster. If you pre-make your poster or you buy one, then let your child decorate it if they're too young to help in the process of actually designing and building it. Let them decorate it, let them have that ownership of it, let them put some decorations on and colours and crayons and stick things on, and really make it exciting, make it this new thing, really ham it up. So the other point I want to make about your bedtime manners poster is that you never want to put on there go to sleep, because this can actually be a really scary and anxious concept for children, because if they've always had difficulty going to bed and going to sleep, they might feel like they don't know how to go to sleep, they can't go to sleep, I'm a bad sleeper, and it can actually be a little bit counterproductive. But anyone and everyone can lie down and close your eyes. So if you just say, lie down and close your eyes, and then you wait for sleep, you get ready for sleep. And the thing is that we can't actually force our children to go to sleep, but we can provide the best environment and the best systems and procedures for them to get there. So this manners poster is a great way. And children love consistency, routines, and procedures. It's very, very interesting, and I'm going to go into it a little bit more later. The next thing you want to do along with your 4 M's is mastering bedtime. This might sound silly, but it's really, really powerful. And what you're going to do is basically role play with your child how to go to bed. And they're going to be the adult or the parent, and they can use a toy as the child. You're going to go through the steps on your manners poster, and you're going to practice essentially how to go to bed properly. You can even reverse the role play so that you as the parent is the child and your child acts as the parent putting you to bed. Now this can be a really wonderful way to promote some empathy within your child and some understanding of also what you're going through when they're crying and upset and not wanting to go to sleep. So, you're not going to create a huge fuss, but you're going to show them the right way to go to sleep. And when they do these wonderful things at night time, you give them lots of stickers on their rewards chart. Oh, and that's the next part. So the next one is motivation, because we all need some motivation, okay? It's really difficult sometimes to get through the things that we need to do, but with a little bit of motivation, like a wonderful sticker chart, it's a great way to help your child keep on track. So you'll give them a sticker for putting on their pajamas, you'll give them a sticker for saying goodnight, you'll give them a sticker for brushing their teeth. And in the morning when they have stayed in bed all night, you need to make a huge excited deal. This is so exciting. Give them lots of stickers and lots of praise. And then you might work out, once they've got 10 stickers, maybe they get ice cream before dinner. Maybe they get an extra play day. Maybe they get a special afternoon date with mummy or daddy. Maybe they can have pancakes for breakfast. Work out some little reward, maybe a little toy or a pencil, or work out some little reward that you can easily give them. Now, the last one is the moving back to bed. Okay, so when you've put your child to bed, you've already gone through your manners poster, you've practiced and you've done your mastering bedtime, you've given them all the stickers on their motivation chart, and then when they go to bed, if they keep hopping out of bed, which they're likely to do, you very quietly and silently move them back to bed. And it's really important that you don't say anything, because children love attention. Well, we all love attention, but the interesting thing is that it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative attention, it's still attention. And if you're giving your child a lot of negative attention in the evening, then they're going to really want that attention. I know it's mind-boggling as an adult, why would you want negative attention, but it's still attention. So it's really important that when you move your child back to bed, you don't say anything. You pick them up, if possible, pop them back into their bedroom and walk back out. Now, you might have to do this numerous times. I have done it with my boys when they started jumping out of their cots. It took me an hour and a half the first time. So be prepared to put in the hard work, but it's really important that you don't give up. If you give up, they'll know you're not serious. They know about this bedtime thing. If you let them sleep on the couch or jump into your bed and this is something you don't want to do anymore, it's really important that you keep moving them back to bed and popping them back into bed every time they come out. And it's a really interesting transition to watch, because at first it might be fun, and they might be laughing, and it might be a bit of game, and then they start getting a little bit upset, and then they start getting really upset when they find out you're not going to give in, and then there might be some tears, and then they might go to sleep. Well, they will eventually go to sleep, they'll get there. The other really great thing about this strategy of the silentness and the no speaking, silentness, is that a word? The quiet and the no speaking, is that it really helps you to keep your emotions in check as well. So often when we're repeating ourselves, it's time to go to bed, go back to bed, you should be asleep, we can start to get really angry and really frustrated, and why aren't they listening to us, and it being very clear. And when you're not saying anything at all, the frustration level stays very low, and it's much easier to stay very calm. And that calmness takes away a lot of the stress and the frustration in that issue. So it's really important that this is a silent action. So those are the 4 M's for bedtime, and they work really, really well. So the second thing that you can look at is your bedtime routine, and this goes on with that manners poster. What is happening in that routine with your child? Because children thrive off consistency. They like to know what's happening, they like to know what's expected, because they like to know what they're supposed to do. So if you've got no bedtime routine, it is never too late to put one in place, but it's always a great idea to put one in place as early as possible. And it will change over the years. Things that are wonderful in bedtime routines are bedtime stories, singing a song, just having a little quiet talking time with mummy and daddy. It's really up to you, but TV is not a great one. You can watch a little bit of a show, but have some other things after that as well, like reading a book or having a chat. The next thing is what's happening during the daytime. So is your child getting enough sleep or too much sleep during the day? Because if your child is 4 and they're having a nap during the day, maybe 2 hours in length, and then you're expecting them to stay in bed for 12 hours, that's 14 hours of sleep. And a 4-year-old simply does not need that. They need 11 to 12 or 10 to 12 hours of sleep. So it might be time to get rid of that nap. Also, if your child is maybe 2.5 and they still need that nap, but they're not going down for their nap until 3 or 4 o'clock, this is really going to upset bedtime for a 7 o'clock. They're simply not going to be tired at that point. Also, perhaps your child, maybe you dropped that last nap too early. Maybe they're 2 and they're actually just way overtired at bedtime. What happens when our children are overtired is their body releases cortisol and it releases adrenaline, and they get that second wind and they get hyper and they get super active, and they might not look very tired. In fact, they might seem very alert. They are actually exhausted. So you might need to pop that nap back in. Another great thing to think about in the afternoon is having some time outside in the sunlight. Sunlight influences the production of serotonin, that happy chemical or hormone rather, that stabilizes our mood, it makes us feel calm, makes us feel happy, and this is a precursor to that sleep hormone melatonin. So it's great to have that natural light for your child in the afternoon. So have a look what's going on during the day. Are they having enough sleep? Are they having too much sleep? Is naps at the wrong time? Check these things out, because no matter what you do, you might have the best routine in the world, but if the sleep needs are messy all over the place, it's not going to help. So, the next thing you need to have a look at is meeting your toddler or your small child's needs. So, what I mean by this is we all have needs that need to be met. And for your toddler and for humans, this is safety and security. And this is a theory by a man called William Glasser, and we all studied him as teachers. It's really wonderful to realize and to know about. So those first needs are safety and security, connection and experience, and power and autonomy. So your toddler needs to feel that these needs are being met. So the safety one, I'm not just talking about a dangerous environment, which obviously we don't want our children to be in, but I'm also talking about predictability and routine and structure. Because if your child is in a situation where they don't know what is happening and it's very confusing to them and they are overwhelmed and overstimulated, they're going to lash out because they don't know what to do. When your child has a predictable, safe routine and schedule to follow, they feel very safe and they know what to do and they know what's expected of them, and it's much easier for them to do that. And also, it's interesting with the brain is that when they feel safe, they're able to think and process at a much higher level. So having that predictability and routine is actually really important for the inside safety of your child. The next thing is connection and experience. Our children love to feel connected with us and have experiences with us and spend time, like really quality time with us. And it's really so easy now, with work and with running errands and keeping the house clean. It's really sometimes difficult to realize that we're not getting that quality time with our children. And so it comes to bedtime and they're kicking up a stink because they basically want to spend time with you. So take even as little as 10 minutes out of your day to spend some one-on-one quality time with your child. It doesn't have to be at bedtime, it could be in the morning, it could be any time of your choosing. And it's just 10 minutes, and you can mark it on your schedule as 10 minutes special time with Joe, 10 minutes of special time with Alice. So this is that time where you really fully and completely connect with your child, and it's something that they need and is going to make them feel very safe and secure. The next thing is that power and autonomy, and I am so noticing this with my boys. They want to do everything themselves. They want to fill up their drink bottle themselves, they want to put the lid on themselves, they want to get their clothes out. And it's really important that we give our children the chance to have these choices, the freedom to make a choice on what they're going to wear, the freedom to choose where they're going to sit. As long as we give them these choices and this power in some small situations, they're going to be much more likely to follow our lead and instructions on things that are non-negotiable, like bedtime, or like brushing your teeth or having a shower, those things that we need to do to keep ourselves clean and healthy. So where and when you can, it might take longer, it might be messier, it might be more frustrating, but give your child some freedom to choose and have some power over themselves and their situation as well. It's a really, really interesting thing to see what happens when they get this power and control as well, in areas where you can let them. Right, the next thing is to not use sleep as a punishment. And it's so easy to fall into, and you might have said the words, you might remember your parents saying them, but like, if you don't start behaving, you're gonna go to bed right now. If you don't eat all your dinner, you go to bed. If you don't stop hitting your sister, you're going to bed. It's very easy to say this. One, because we're frustrated and we want them to go to bed and go away. So it's very easy to say these things, but then bedtime and sleeping becomes a negative experience. It becomes a punishment, and it can make it really difficult to bring it back into something that's positive and good and healthy for us. So try not to use bedtime as a punishment. So another great strategy is if you have a little procrastinator who, once they go into bed, needs that glass of water, needs that extra cuddle, needs to go and say goodnight to another member of the family or friend that's in the house, suddenly remembered or forgot something they left in the kitchen. And they can come up with wonderful excuses. And this is a really great one, and it's called pop-ins. And so what you do is you pop your child to bed and you say goodnight, you give them a kiss, maybe you stay with them for 5 or 10 minutes, and then you say, I'm just gonna go and check the dishes have been washed up, and then I'll come back and check on you. And so you go out, and you might be gone maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then you pop back in. And you say, oh, are you okay? Great. I'm just gonna go and put some clothes on to wash so that we've got fresh clothes in the morning, and then I'll come back. And then this time you wait longer, maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes. And then you pop back in and you go, oh, you're okay? Wonderful. All right, I'm just gonna go and check that the lounge room is all nice and tidy. And then you go out, and you're gonna stay out 15 to 20 minutes. And each little pop out, the time becomes progressively longer. And you're hoping within those times that your child falls to sleep. So it's a nice, gentle way. This next strategy is my absolute favorite. I love this one. It's really, really great with that 3 to 5 age category and even older. And that is using the sleep fairy. And that you can tell your child that if they sleep all night in their bed and they follow their routine and they go to bed, the sleep fairy is going to visit them. And how they can tell that the sleep fairy has visited them is you as a parent, you go in while they're asleep during the night and you sprinkle some glitter on their bed so that when they wake up in the morning, they can see that the sleep fairy has visited them. Also, if they're a little bit older, this is a really fun way or a fun thing to put in their routine. And you can sit down and you can write a letter to the sleep fairy. Now this kind of kills 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. So you get some really good one-on-one connection time with your child. It's great as part of your bedtime routine, and it provides that safety and consistency as well. So write a little letter to the sleep fairy. Let them know what a great sleeper they are. And then in the morning when they wake up, there might be a little chocolate or a little biscuit and a little note from the sleep fairy back. And you can keep up this little communication for as long as you want, and it's a really sweet idea, and it works really, really well. next thing that could be frustrating your child at bedtime is they could be genuinely scared of monsters or shadows or sounds and things that are going on in their room. And it's really important to not dismiss your child's fears as silly, because they might be genuine, and you can tell whether they're genuinely afraid or whether it's a procrastination tool. It's really important to talk them through their fears and really alleviate them and negate them of those fears as much as possible. So you might have a really good chat with them about monsters and what's real and what's not real. Another really great thing you can do is talk about what it is within their room when the light is off that's scaring them. And then maybe it's a toy that looks very scary, so take that toy out. Maybe the way the furniture is creates some funny shadows and it's scary. So maybe earlier in the day or the next day, get your child in there, rearrange the furniture into something that feels safe and happy to them. Maybe they need a little night light to help them out a little bit. It's a really great idea to help really listen to their fears and help them overcome them. This is the best way to solve the monster or the scary problem. Now, there's one little thing I saw which I thought was really cool, and I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'd love to hear if someone has used this, if it worked or didn't work, or what you thought. And that's getting like a spray bottle, and it's a monster repellent spray. You spray the cupboards and you spray the doors and you spray under the bed. And I've heard conflicting information. One, it's fun and great to do. And another one is it's actually feeding into their fears. So I would love to know if you've used this strategy and how it went. Please let me know in the comments below. Now, the last thing that you can try is going for a late bedtime. And I know you're going, what? But it's only late for a short period of time. So say that you notice after all the drama and procrastination that your child is actually not falling asleep till about 10:30 at night. You're going to make their bedtime the following night 10:30 p.m. Okay? And it's really important that you keep them engaged with activities before that time so they don't accidentally fall asleep watching TV or on the couch. So do some drawing, play with blocks, do anything that you can think of, maybe bake some biscuits, and say that time is 10:30, about 10 o'clock you're going to start going through your bedtime manners poster and getting them ready for bed and putting them into bed then. And then this is to minimize that drama and procrastination. And then every 3 nights, you're going to move that bedtime forward. So after 2 or 3 nights, bedtime's going to be 10:15. Then another 3 nights, it's going to be 10 o'clock. Another 3 nights, 9:45, and so on, until you get to like a nice 7:30 bedtime. It's really age appropriate for your child. So it's a really great strategy to use. It can be a tricky one to use if they get that second wind at 10 o'clock and they're really not ready to settle down, but it can work. I've worked with some mums where it worked really well. So these are 10 great strategies and ideas to help you with your toddlers or your small children at bedtime. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of these suggestions, if you've tried them, if they really worked, if you've got some modifications that worked really well. I would love to hear your ideas and your experiences and your tips as well. Please comment, share the love, and I look forward to seeing you next time.